How you doing? This is Danny McClarty from DannyMcClarty.com. I recently received an email from one of my readers. In it, this is what he wrote. How you doing? My name is John. Not too long ago I came across one of your blog posts. In it, you mentioned that you're not a big fan of distance running. I myself have been an avid runner over the last 10 years. However, I noticed a lot of aches and pains have accumulated in my body over the years. So I'm curious as to your take of a better way, or at least a different way to get my cardio in, rather than doing my 5K, 10K, or sometimes even 15-mile runs. Thank you, John. Alright, first of all, I appreciate the email, John. I definitely have a very strong opinion on distance running for the average fitness folk. The big thing to me is, if you take a look at running, just 1 mile for example, there's approximately 1,500 steps in 1 mile. So you take 1,500 steps, multiply, let's say you do a 3-mile run, all of a sudden, just that one run alone, you have 4,500 steps. Multiply that times 3, you're in over the 10,000s, do that over the course of a month, a year, etc. You're talking about a lot of steps. Now, it's not just that the amount of steps that are a problem, it's the fact that these steps are in the same repetitive motion. Take a stride, hit the ground, take a stride, hit the ground. Repetitive stress can be very tough on the joints. So, with that said, there's definitely benefits to running. You get your cardiovascular health, you can help burn fat, etc., etc. So I'm not knocking running altogether. But I definitely, like John mentioned, I think there are better ways, which I'll get to you in a minute. Let me share a recent story with you. When I was in California, in the East Bay, I saw a knee specialist, and one thing that really stood out to me was a little something he told me. He told me if he was the fitness god of the world, and he was granted any wish in the fitness field, he said he would get rid of all distance running altogether. He said he saw more people come in to see him with knee pain, low back pain, ankle pain, just joint pain in general, that were runners. And quite often that even contributed maybe even to go to surgery. Now that's not to say that if you're a runner and you go in and you have knee pain or low back pain, running is the sole cause of this pain. However, according to this knee specialist and the observations that I've made in talking to some other strength coaches in this field, I would say lean towards what this doctor was saying, that distance running can have a big, can be a big contributing factor to these joint pains and joint problems that this doctor was talking about. Again, you think about all those steps in the repetitive fashion that they're taken. There's definitely different ways we can look to make this whole scenario better. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I'm not anti-cross country. I'm not anti-distance and track. That's a sport. You think about football, basketball, my favorite sport, and when I played all the way through college. All these sports, they take a big toll and beating on the body, but that's the nature of the sport. To be good at what you do, to be competitive in high school or college, or maybe even at the professional level, you have to put your body through a lot of joint stress and impact to be very good at what you do, or at least to try to be very good at what you do. So I'm speaking more to the general health person, the typical male or female that says, I haven't worked out in a while, and I think Monday after this long weekend, I'm gonna really hit it and wake up and start running. For that person, there's no need to take your body and put it through all that stress, especially the person that says what I just said and they have weight to lose. So you take that stress I'm talking about, and take extra weight hitting the ground every stride, and that can really lead to a lot of problems. So here's another example I like to think about. If I had a potential client, me as a strength coach, personal trainer, fitness coach, whatever you want to call me, if I had a potential client come down and sit with me and do a consultation, and he or she said, Danny, can you tell me a little bit about your philosophy and what our training program will look like? If I told him or her that on week 1, we're going to do 4,500 reps, which is equivalent to running 3 miles, 4,500 strides. 4,500 reps of bench press and squats and throw in any other exercises, lunges, deadlifts, whatever, on day 1. He or she, if he knew anything about working out, they would just walk out my doors and I wouldn't blame them. So that's basically the equivalent, doing 4,500 push presses, bench presses, squats, whatever, as doing 4,500 strides out on the road running. So some people may say, I greatly disagree with you, Danny, and here's why I disagree. When you do a bench press or any kind of loaded exercise, you're adding weight to it, so that causes more stress to the body. However, you think about running, it's actually 2 to 5 times your body weight of impact on the ground. So if you weigh 150 pounds, every step you take is at least 300 pounds of impact and force onto the ground. anywhere from 2 to 5 times. It really depends on a number of factors. So the stress of running can be as big or even bigger as the exercise in the weight room that I just mentioned. So that's it's not too favorable for joint stress. So what else can we do? There's a million things we can do. You can definitely still get your cardiovascular benefit. I can randomly pick 5 exercises off the top of my head, and you can do that. For example, let's say you did 50 reps of jumping jacks, went into 50 mountain climbers, 15 push-ups, jumped rope for 20 seconds, and then did 15 kettlebell swings. You know, that may or may not be appropriate for your level of fitness or your goals, but just randomly picking something, 5 different exercises. The great thing about this scenario, instead of just the repetitive motion that running brings, is that the stress is spread throughout your joints more evenly. There's many strength coaches that have talked about this in the past. Alan Cosgrove, a great strength coach, is the first person that comes to mind. I believe he popularized the whole more evenly distribute the stress throughout your body concept. And I think it's just great because if you think about it, again, it's not repetitive. You distribute stress from your ankle, knee, hip, low back, and shoulder joints. So unless you absolutely love running, in my experience, there's not many people that say, wake up in the morning, I just can't wait to go out and run 5 miles today. But there are some people like that. If you're truly like that, and you just love to go out and run, you know, more power to you. I never ask you to change anything in life that's something that you love and just take it away. However, for the vast majority of people, they run because they think that's the way to do it. Again, they wake up and say, I'm going to start a fitness program, I'm going to start running tomorrow. So, again, quite often they're overweight when they do that, so that just compounds the problems. Number one, what's the most important factor in losing weight? It's nutrition. Weightlifting can have a huge role in weight loss and maintaining muscle, which can speed metabolism up. And then also your cardio plan again. So it's a combination of nutrition, weight training, and cardio, with definitely nutrition being number 1 on the list. But if you look at cardio, why not do it in a fashion that is way more friendly in the joints? That's not such repetitive stress. That's my whole take on a better way to get your cardio in. And you know, I just randomly picked those 5 exercises a second ago. If I had some time to think and write down, I can come up with something that's you know, more appropriate for the different fitness levels from beginner to intermediate to advanced. Another thing, top of my mind, I can think of 3 exercises that are a lot more joint friendly that are basically zero impact. Quickly, let's think about have you ever seen battling ropes? You take the ropes and you start either alternating them, swinging them. There's a bunch of fun things you can do with battling ropes. That's basically zero joint stress on the body. Another one, let's say punching bag. Get a punching bag and start going to town on that. I've had a lot of clients over the years hit the punching bag, and again, it's so much more joint friendly than doing 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 mile runs throughout the course of a week. A third one, real quickly, there's a slide board you can do. So if you have a slide board, you go side to side, that's no impact as well. Push-ups, if you're strong enough, that's minimal joint stress. You know, if I spent a few more seconds here, I could definitely think of other exercises. So if I think about this, I think about, let's say, 4 categories of people. Number 1, if you're listening to this and you're like, you know, I've never thought about this before, this is something that's never crossed my mind, and I'm really glad to have come across this information in this this YouTube video you're making, because this has kind of opened up my mind to a better way of thinking that I haven't thought about before. So if that's the case, I'm glad I can help you out. Person number 2, category 2, I guess, would be the person that said, I've heard this information before, but honestly, I've never really, with an open mind, digested and heard what you had to say. And now that I'm listening with an open mind, it is pretty enlightening, and I'm glad, again, I came across that. Person number 3 is the person that says, honestly, Danny, I've listened to what you're saying with an open mind, but I think running is the best way. I appreciate what you're saying. Honestly, I'm open-minded about it, but I disagree. Now, if you're a category 3 person, I would love to see your reasons why you disagree with what I'm saying. If that's your take, and if you're really open-minded about listening to this kind of information, I have no problem with it. I'm always open for a healthy discussion or healthy debate. So if you are in this category, please leave a comment below and let's discuss and give me your reasons, because again, I'm real curious as to why you would disagree with what I'm saying. And then there's a category 4 person, and that's the individual that basically, as soon as I said the words, I'm not really a fan of distance running, they tuned me out and said, this guy's a bunch of BS. I don't care what he says. And I can tell the person the sky's blue, and if he or she already had it made up in their mind the sky is red, then there's no really hope for this person to at least consider what I'm saying. I might as well be talking to the wall. So anyway, if you're a runner and you listen to this with an open mind, I hope you at least consider some of the things I'm saying. And again, if you love it, maybe continue doing it, just reduce the volume. If you're somewhat a typical person that's running and absolutely hate it but think it's the only way, I hope you can stop running altogether and think about some more joint-friendly ways to get your cardio in. Alright, so there you go. Some of my thoughts on distance running and ways to make it better. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any comments that you'd like to share, I'd love to talk to you about it. Leave them below. Thank you. Talk to you later.